From the PEP Radio Newsroom, this is the daily news for June 12th, 2026. These are the stories we are covering at this hour. At least 3 tornadoes battered communities outside Chicago, leveling homes and ripping down trees and power poles, while storms grounded flights and knocked out power for hundreds of thousands in the Midwest and Northeast. As a large funnel cloud swept through Merrillville, a town about 33 miles southeast of Chicago, the city's police department warned residents to, quote, take cover immediately, end quote. Meanwhile, the nearby manufacturing and farm city of Streator set up a family reunification center for displaced residents in its city hall as officials took stock of the major damage. Streator Mayor Tara Badai said there were no reported deaths. We are incredibly grateful for the safety of our residents and the quick action of our emergency personnel, she said in a statement. Tornado warnings were also in place in Chicago and in parts of Indiana and Michigan, according to the National Weather Service. In Chicago, a series finale between the White Sox and the Atlanta Braves was postponed due to rain. Turning to news from South Korea, South Korea's ousted President Yoon Suk-yeol and his former defense minister were sentenced to 30 years in prison in a case alleging Yoon ordered drone flights over Pyongyang in 2024 to heighten tensions with North Korea and justify declaring martial law at home. The full version of the Seoul Central District Court's ruling was not immediately available. The same court earlier sentenced Yoon to life in prison for a rebellion conviction over his short-lived imposition of martial law in December 2024. North Korea accused Seoul of flying drones over Pyongyang to drop propaganda leaflets 3 times in October 2024. South Korea's defense minister at the time, Kim Yong-hyun, issued a vague denial before the defense ministry said it could neither confirm nor deny the allegations. Tensions rose sharply but did not lead to any military clashes. Yoon's lawyers criticized the latest ruling, saying the drone flights were a response to North Korea flying thousands of trash-carrying balloons into the South earlier in 2024. They argued that a guilty verdict would undermine South Korea's security interests, but did not immediately say whether they would appeal. And we have this news from the United Kingdom. UK Defense Secretary John Healey unexpectedly quit on Thursday, saying the government is unwilling to spend enough on the military at a time of rising threats. The resignation dealt another blow to embattled Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who is already facing demands from Labour colleagues to step down. Healey told Starmer in a letter that the government defense investment plan falls well short of what is required at this dangerous time. Publication of the plan has been delayed amid reports of disagreement between the Defense Ministry and the Treasury. Healey was followed out the door several hours later by Al Carnes, a decorated war veteran, who served as a prominent junior minister in the Defense Ministry. He said he could not defend the level of investment I know to be inadequate to the task. Carnes has been suggested as a possible contender in the anticipated contest to challenge Starmer's leadership. And finally, this news from Pennsylvania. Democratic lawmakers in the Pennsylvania Senate recently introduced legislation prohibiting immigration and customs enforcement officials from being within 100 feet of polling locations and ballot return sites come November. ICE operates with a budget larger than most of the world's militaries. Their ranks have grown and their operations have become more aggressive. State Senator Saval, the Democrat from Philadelphia, said at a press conference in Harrisburg on Tuesday. All of us have witnessed on our televisions and our phones and in our communities the use of tear gas and violence against those who seek to uphold the rights that all of us have here as people on U.S. soil. Pennsylvania law currently prohibits active duty law enforcement officers from being within 100 feet, and Saval wants to extend those regulations to federal immigration officers so Pennsylvanians aren't left feeling intimidated or vulnerable when casting their votes. That's the news at this hour. The PEP Radio YouTube channel offers news updates all day, every day. PEP Radio is available on the Live 365 app, the PEP Radio page at paequality.com, Roku, Alexa, and wherever you find streaming radio. Up next, we have the Meadville area weather forecast here on PEP Radio.